They called him old-timer like it was a joke. But by the end of the day, every record on the board had his name beside it. Master Sergeant David Phantom Rodriguez had spent 23 years in the most dangerous corners of the world, leading special operations missions in 42 countries where his team eliminated high-value targets that kept America safe, while citizens slept peacefully in their beds. His expertise in urban warfare and precision shooting was legendary among those who knew, completing 298 successful operations without losing a single soldier under his command. But the classified nature of his Special Forces assignments meant his Medal of Honor and 5 Silver Stars would remain locked in government vaults marked Top Secret, no foreign access. The bullet scars across his chest and the titanium plates in his spine were the only visible proof of battles fought in places that officially never saw American boots on the ground. 9 months after forced retirement at 52, due to accumulated combat injuries, that same warrior found himself standing in line at the DEA's elite Special Response Team training facility in Quantico, surrounded by federal agents half his age who viewed him as a washed-up soldier desperately trying to find relevance in civilian law enforcement. His salt and pepper beard and the slight hesitation in his left shoulder from an enemy sniper's bullet drew condescending smiles from 30-year-old agents who mistook experience for weakness, while his methodical approach to gear preparation and tactical planning was dismissed as old-school overthinking by candidates who confused speed with skill. None of these elite federal agents realized they were training alongside someone whose classified kill count exceeded the entire facility's combined operational experience. The instructors running SRT selection had noticed something unusual about Rodriguez's understanding of advanced tactical procedures and crisis response protocols. His movement through urban warfare scenarios demonstrated muscle memory that seemed carved from real-world application rather than training simulations, while his situational awareness and threat assessment capabilities suggested experience forged in environments where mistakes meant death rather than course failure. His familiarity with classified techniques and specialized equipment indicated operational background that went far beyond standard military service, but they kept their observations to themselves, watching quietly as this mysterious candidate navigated training with the calm confidence of someone who had nothing left to prove. The other candidates knew him only as competition for limited spots in America's most elite federal tactical unit. The retiree, when discussing his age disadvantage among themselves during breaks, military burnout, when questioning his motivation for federal law enforcement transition during informal conversations, or simply dismissed him as token diversity hire, while they focused on outperforming each other through physical prowess and aggressive tactics that prioritized individual achievement over team effectiveness and operational success. They saw the gray in his hair and assumed weakness. They noticed his careful movements and mistook caution for fear. They were about to learn the difference between arrogance and experience. Welcome to Silent Salute, where we discover that true warriors never really retire. They just find new battlefields to conquer. Before we reveal this incredible story of hidden legends and shattered assumptions, tell us in the comments which military branch has earned your deepest respect and admiration. And if you believe that experience beats youth when lives hang in the balance, hit that subscribe button to support our mission of honoring those who serve in silence and sacrifice everything for our freedom. For the first 6 weeks of the 12-week program, Rodriguez's training performance reinforced every stereotype about aging military personnel transitioning to federal service. He arrived 30 minutes early for grueling 16-hour training days, maintained his equipment with obsessive attention to detail that younger agents found excessive and outdated, positioned himself strategically during team exercises without seeking leadership roles that might draw unwanted attention, and demonstrated the kind of steady, methodical competence that characterized experienced operators, adapting to new organizational culture and operational procedures. His behavior was entirely appropriate for someone proving himself worthy of elite federal selection. His presence was professionally reliable without being remarkable, and his tactical focus was so controlled and measured that even senior instructors treated him as a solid but unremarkable candidate rather than someone with extraordinary operational capabilities hidden beneath the surface. But there were signs for those who knew what to look for. Special Agent Martinez, coordinating advanced firearms assessments and marksmanship evaluations, had observed something distinctive about Rodriguez's weapon handling and target engagement techniques that set him apart from typical military to federal transitions. He didn't just qualify with standard DEA firearms. He demonstrated precision and tactical shooting capabilities that suggested extensive combat application and specialized training that exceeded typical military small arms proficiency. His stance was too perfect, his breathing too controlled, his target acquisition too instinctive for someone whose experience came only from military training ranges. Instructor Davis, evaluating close-quarters combat scenarios during tactical simulations and urban warfare exercises, had noticed something remarkable about Rodriguez's movement patterns and engagement strategies that distinguished him from other candidates. He wasn't just completing training objectives and checking boxes. He was unconsciously applying advanced techniques and tactical innovations that suggested comprehensive understanding of real-world special operations and counterterrorism procedures that went beyond academic instruction or standard military preparation. His room clearing was too fluid, his threat assessment too quick, his tactical decision-making too refined for someone without extensive combat experience. Senior Instructor Thompson, overseeing psychological stress evaluations and crisis response assessments, had recognized something unique about Rodriguez's performance under extreme pressure that indicated operational background far beyond typical military service. During high-stress scenarios designed to break candidates mentally and emotionally, Rodriguez maintained a level of calm focus and tactical clarity that suggested experience in life-or-death situations where hesitation meant mission failure and teammates died. His stress responses were too controlled, his decision-making too clear, his leadership too natural for someone without extensive combat command experience. The training program intensified as weeks progressed, with increasingly demanding physical challenges, complex tactical scenarios, and psychological pressure designed to eliminate all but the most capable candidates. Rodriguez continued his steady, unremarkable performance, neither dominating challenges like the younger speed demons nor falling behind like candidates who couldn't handle the pressure. He maintained his position in the middle of the pack, competent but not exceptional, reliable but not remarkable, exactly where someone his age would be expected to perform given the physical demands and competitive atmosphere of elite federal selection. But the younger candidates weren't content to simply outperform the old-timer. They wanted to break him completely. Agent Collins, a former college athlete with a chip on his shoulder about military personnel and federal service, began orchestrating subtle harassment designed to force Rodriguez into mistakes that would justify his elimination from the program. During team exercises, Collins would deliberately assign Rodriguez the most physically demanding tasks while taking credit for successful outcomes. During tactical drills, he would question Rodriguez's decisions loudly enough for instructors to hear, undermining his authority and creating doubt about his capabilities. Agent Morrison, a former police SWAT officer who resented military personnel transitioning to federal service, joined the campaign of psychological warfare designed to force Rodriguez's voluntary withdrawal from the program. He spread rumors about Rodriguez's obvious limitations and questionable motivation, suggesting that older candidates were taking spots from younger, more capable agents who deserved the opportunity. During competitive exercises, Morrison would deliberately interfere with Rodriguez's equipment or positioning, creating disadvantages that made his performance appear weaker than it actually was. The harassment escalated when Agent Stevens, the unofficial leader of the younger candidate faction, decided that more direct action was necessary to eliminate what he saw as dead weight in their elite training class. During a particularly demanding tactical exercise involving hostage rescue simulation, Stevens deliberately provided Rodriguez with incorrect intelligence about target locations and enemy positions, setting him up for failure that could result in elimination from the program. The setup was subtle enough to appear accidental, but comprehensive enough to ensure Rodriguez would fail the exercise catastrophically. Rodriguez recognized the sabotage immediately, but chose not to respond, understanding that confronting the younger agents would only confirm their assumptions about his inability to handle pressure and criticism. Instead, he adapted his tactics on the fly, using his extensive combat experience to compensate for the false intelligence and complete the exercise successfully despite the deliberate handicaps. His performance was solid but not exceptional, exactly what the instructors expected from a candidate overcoming obstacles, and the younger agents assumed their sabotage had simply been insufficient to break him completely. The psychological warfare continued for weeks, with younger candidates escalating their efforts to force Rodriguez's elimination through increasingly sophisticated harassment and sabotage. They questioned his physical capabilities during demanding exercises, undermined his tactical suggestions during team planning sessions, and created social pressure designed to isolate him from other candidates who might provide support or friendship. Their goal was simple: make the old-timer quit so a younger, more deserving candidate could take his place in America's most elite federal tactical unit. Rodriguez endured the harassment with the patience of someone who had faced far worse enemies in far more dangerous circumstances, understanding that his tormentors were children playing games while he had survived real warfare against opponents who wanted him dead rather than simply eliminated from a training program. He maintained his steady performance, his professional demeanor, and his tactical focus while younger agents continued their campaign of harassment and sabotage, waiting for the moment when their true character would be revealed and their assumptions about his capabilities would be shattered completely. The final selection phase was scheduled for Friday morning, bringing together Quantico's most demanding physical fitness assessments, tactical evaluations, and psychological stress tests designed to identify candidates capable of performing under extreme pressure during America's most dangerous federal law enforcement operations. The testing represented the ultimate measure of tactical capability, physical conditioning, and mental resilience required for operators who would face armed terrorists, desperate criminals, and life-or-death scenarios where mistakes meant civilian casualties and mission failure. Rodriguez drew assignment to the final evaluation group after completing preliminary assessments that demonstrated solid but unremarkable performance compared to younger candidates who had dominated physical challenges and tactical exercises through superior speed, aggressive execution, and the natural advantages of youth over experience. His selection for final testing represented standard protocol rather than exceptional achievement, an opportunity for experienced military personnel to prove capability despite age disadvantages and physical limitations that clearly favored younger federal agent candidates with superior athleticism and competitive drive. Among the final candidates were some of the federal government's most accomplished young agents with years of specialized training and cutting-edge tactical preparation. Agent Viper Johnson held multiple certifications for urban warfare and had pioneered breach and clear techniques during advanced SWAT training. Agent Falcon Martinez was renowned throughout the federal law enforcement community for exceptional marksmanship and had established new performance benchmarks across multiple high-stakes tactical competitions. Agent Razor Thompson possessed advanced degrees in criminal psychology and tactical leadership, representing the new generation of educated, athletic, technologically sophisticated federal operators who would define the future of American law enforcement. The selection committee included DEA's most experienced tactical instructors and operational commanders with decades of federal law enforcement experience and legendary reputations for identifying exceptional candidates. Deputy Assistant Director Hawk Williams supervised final evaluations while maintaining legendary status as one of the most successful undercover operators in DEA history, with tactical innovations and operational achievements that had dismantled international drug cartels through strategic excellence and tactical expertise developed during the most challenging federal operations. Senior Instructor Iron Davis coordinated practical assessments while holding the distinction of training more successful SRT operators than any other instructor in program history, with a reputation for identifying potential that others missed and developing capabilities that exceeded normal human limitations. Final testing commenced at 0400 hours with comprehensive physical assessments and weapons qualifications, followed by systematic evaluation of tactical scenarios and crisis response exercises that would determine which candidates possessed the capabilities required for SRT operations. Rodriguez participated in the evaluation sequence with consistent, but unremarkable performance that reinforced everyone's expectations about aging military capabilities compared to peak physical conditioning and tactical aggressiveness of younger candidates who attacked every challenge with the confidence and energy that defined their generation's approach to elite competition. But the pivotal moment occurred during the advanced marksmanship evaluation when candidates faced the most challenging precision shooting scenarios designed to test capabilities under extreme stress and time pressure that replicated real-world tactical operations where split-second accuracy meant the difference between mission success and catastrophic failure. The course required engaging multiple targets at varying distances while navigating obstacles and tactical challenges that simulated real-world drug enforcement operations where civilian lives depended on instantaneous accuracy and tactical decision-making under intense psychological pressure. Moving targets appeared and disappeared behind cover, requiring instant target identification and engagement. Hostage scenarios demanded precision shots that eliminated threats without endangering innocence. Long-range precision shooting tested capabilities at distances that challenged the limits of human marksmanship and equipment performance. Younger candidates attacked the course with impressive speed and confidence, posting respectable scores that demonstrated solid tactical capabilities and competitive physical conditioning that met DEA standards for federal tactical operations. Agent Collins achieved a score of 847 out of 1,000 possible points, demonstrating the aggressive accuracy that had made him a standout throughout training. Agent Morrison posted 823 points with a completion time that showcased his athletic conditioning and competitive drive. Agent Stevens, the unofficial leader of the younger faction, achieved 889 points with tactical precision that reinforced his position as the top candidate in the selection class. But as Rodriguez approached the firing line for his evaluation run, something began to happen that would fundamentally transform how everyone understood his operational background and tactical capabilities. The other candidates gathered to watch what they expected to be an adequate but unremarkable performance from the aging military veteran who had somehow survived elimination through steady but unspectacular competence throughout the training program. Rodriguez assumed shooting position with casual efficiency, his movements demonstrating the kind of unconscious competence that comes from thousands of hours of real-world application rather than training range practice. His stance was perfect without appearing practiced, his grip natural without seeming calculated, his breathing controlled without being obvious. There was something different about his preparation, something that suggested muscle memory carved from environments where missing meant death rather than point deductions. The transformation was immediate and devastating. His first shot eliminated a target at 400 meters with precision that made electronic scoring systems recalibrate their accuracy measurements, posting a perfect center mass hit that stunned observing instructors who had never seen such precision from a cold barrel first shot. At 0847 hours, Rodriguez began an exhibition that would redefine everyone's understanding of tactical marksmanship and operational capability, demonstrating skills that transcended normal human limitation and approached technological perfection. Target after target fell with mechanical precision that exceeded human capability and challenged the boundaries of what observers thought possible with standard-issue equipment. Moving targets that had challenged other candidates were eliminated before they completed their programmed movement patterns. Partially concealed positions that required perfect shot placement were engaged with accuracy that left no margin for error. Extreme distance shots that tested the limits of rifle accuracy and environmental compensation were completed with results that forced range officers to verify their equipment calibration. His movement between firing positions was fluid and economical, demonstrating tactical efficiency that suggested experience in environments where wasted motion meant exposure to enemy fire. His target acquisition was instantaneous, his engagement timing perfect, his tactical decision-making so refined that instructors found themselves learning new techniques by observing his performance rather than evaluating his compliance with their standards. The hostage rescue scenarios that had challenged other candidates with their requirement for precision shooting in high-stress environments were completed with accuracy that eliminated all threats while maintaining perfect safety margins for innocent targets. Rodriguez's performance in these critical scenarios demonstrated not just exceptional marksmanship, but tactical understanding of real-world hostage situations that went beyond training simulations and suggested extensive operational experience in similar circumstances. His completion time shattered course records by 53 seconds while maintaining accuracy percentages that instructors had never witnessed during decades of federal tactical training and candidate evaluation. His final score of 998 out of 1,000 possible points represented performance that exceeded not just candidate standards, but instructor capabilities, suggesting operational background and combat experience that belonged to America's most elite warriors rather than typical military to federal transitions. The marksmanship exhibition was observed by all final candidates and instructor staff throughout the range facility, creating immediate recognition that Rodriguez's capabilities exceeded normal military training and represented legendary tactical skills that belonged to America's most distinguished special operations personnel. The silence that followed his performance was complete and profound, broken only by the electronic beeping of scoring systems struggling to process results that challenged their programmed parameters. Special Agent Martinez, observing the remarkable performance from range control position, immediately understood that Rodriguez's shooting demonstration indicated operational background and combat experience that far exceeded typical military service and suggested classified capabilities requiring immediate command attention and security review. His hands were shaking as he reached for his radio to contact senior leadership about performance that transcended normal evaluation protocols. Deputy Director Williams Martinez reported after Rodriguez's record-breaking performance, his voice betraying excitement and professional concern. The candidate we classified as routine military retiree just posted scores that exceed our instructor capabilities and suggest operational background that requires immediate security classification review and command attention. The response came immediately, revealing information about Rodriguez's military background that completely transformed everyone's understanding of his service history and tactical accomplishments. Williams' voice carried the weight of classified knowledge and profound respect for operational excellence that had been concealed behind routine candidate processing. Agent Martinez, David Rodriguez, is Master Sergeant David Rodriguez, Special Forces Commander with 23 years of classified operations and tactical achievements that exceed anything we've seen in federal law enforcement history. His transition to civilian status represents the loss of America's most capable special operations warrior to mandatory military retirement policies that force our best operators into civilian careers. The revelation struck the evaluation facility like a precision strike that fundamentally altered everyone's understanding of Rodriguez's tactical background and operational capabilities. The old-timer they had dismissed and harassed was actually America's most legendary special forces operator with classified achievements that exceeded all active federal tactical personnel combined. The harassment campaign that had targeted him throughout training suddenly appeared not just inappropriate, but professionally embarrassing for agents who had unknowingly been tormenting a national hero whose service record exceeded their collective experience by decades. Martinez immediately approached Rodriguez with obvious professional respect and growing understanding of military service that had been concealed behind routine candidate processing and evaluation procedures that failed to reflect his extraordinary operational background and tactical achievements. His earlier observations about Rodriguez's unusual capabilities suddenly made perfect sense in the context of classified special operations experience that transcended normal military training. Master Sergeant Rodriguez, Martinez said with evident respect and professional embarrassment about his previous failure to recognize exceptional capability. Deputy Director Williams has confirmed your Special Forces background as one of the most distinguished tactical commanders in military history. Your performance today reflects capabilities that clearly exceed our training standards and evaluation criteria by margins that challenge our understanding of human tactical potential. Rodriguez's response was carefully measured, understanding that his military background had been discovered through tactical performance that he had hoped to moderate during transition to federal law enforcement employment and personal preference for anonymous service rather than celebrity status that would interfere with his desire for quiet professional contribution. Agent Martinez, my previous service included military operations that are documented in classified records. but I prefer to focus on current federal law enforcement objectives rather than past achievements that belong to different organizational requirements and mission parameters that no longer define my professional identity or operational goals. But Williams, whose profound respect for tactical excellence had motivated his immediate recognition of Rodriguez's extraordinary capabilities, was determined to ensure appropriate utilization of skills that clearly deserved operational assignment rather than standard candidate processing that failed to recognize exceptional potential for federal tactical operations. Master Sergeant Rodriguez, your tactical capabilities represent exactly what SRT requires for our most challenging operations and dangerous assignments. Your service background and demonstrated skills indicate readiness for immediate operational assignment rather than extended training programs designed for less experienced candidates who lack your operational expertise and combat experience. The younger agents who had spent weeks harassing Rodriguez stood in stunned silence, suddenly understanding that their campaign of psychological warfare had targeted someone whose tactical achievements and operational service exceeded anything they would accomplish in their entire federal careers. Agent Collins, who had orchestrated much of the harassment, found himself unable to meet Rodriguez's eyes, realizing that his sabotage attempts had been directed against a national hero whose classified service record included achievements that would never be fully disclosed but clearly represented the highest levels of tactical excellence and operational courage. Agent Morrison, whose resentment about military personnel and federal service had motivated his participation in the harassment campaign, experienced the profound embarrassment of someone who had questioned the capabilities of America's most distinguished special operations veteran. His assumptions about Rodriguez's limitations and questionable motivation were revealed as ignorant prejudice rather than legitimate professional assessment, and his interference with Rodriguez's training had actually been sabotage directed against someone whose service to America exceeded his own by immeasurable margins. Agent Stevens, the unofficial leader of the younger candidate faction, realized that his leadership of the harassment campaign would define his professional reputation throughout federal law enforcement as someone who had targeted a national hero based on age discrimination and ignorant assumptions about capability. His efforts to eliminate Rodriguez from the program would be remembered as one of the most embarrassing failures of judgment in training program history, and his tactical performance, which had seemed impressive hours earlier, now appeared mediocre compared to the exhibition they had just witnessed. Over the following days, Rodriguez's exceptional tactical demonstration became legendary throughout federal law enforcement training programs, as details of his operational background and record-breaking performance spread through official and unofficial channels among federal personnel, tactical instructors, and agency leadership. His transition from Special Forces commander to federal agent candidate had concealed capabilities that exceeded virtually all active personnel and represented tactical excellence of the highest caliber available in American law enforcement. What Master Sergeant Rodriguez demonstrated today, Williams explained to agency leadership during his official report about the evaluation results, represents tactical capability and operational excellence that continues through different forms of service, even when military retirement policies force America's most capable operators into new professional environments. His presence reminds us that extraordinary tactical skills and legendary operational achievements often transfer to federal service rather than disappearing with military retirement, and our evaluation protocols should be modified to better identify such exceptional capabilities. Williams worked with agency headquarters and tactical leadership to develop assignment protocols that utilized Rodriguez's distinguished capabilities while respecting his transition to federal law enforcement through operational roles that honored his tactical expertise and leadership experience developed during classified military operations that had protected American interests in the most dangerous environments on Earth. My military experience, Rodriguez explained to federal tactical personnel during his first briefing as a newly assigned SRT operator, demonstrated that operational excellence and tactical innovation can adapt to different mission requirements, and federal law enforcement provides opportunities to serve American security through different types of professional contribution that honor the tactical skills and operational knowledge developed through special operations training while addressing domestic threats that require similar capabilities. His federal service emphasized tactical excellence, operational leadership, and professional techniques that reflected both military operational knowledge and deep commitment to supporting federal law enforcement through tactical capabilities and operational expertise that enhanced agency mission effectiveness while maintaining the standards of professional excellence that had defined his military career. Williams, who had recognized Rodriguez's legendary capabilities through performance evaluation, became his strongest advocate for operational assignment and tactical leadership roles that honored distinguished service while utilizing extraordinary capabilities for federal law enforcement missions. Master Sergeant Rodriguez, your approach to federal tactical operations demonstrates that legendary military operators can contribute through multiple forms of operational excellence and tactical leadership that enhance federal law enforcement capabilities while maintaining the operational standards and professional integrity that define elite service. The operational protocols that Williams advocated were eventually adopted throughout federal tactical training programs, establishing new procedures for identifying exceptional capabilities while supporting military-to-federal transitions that allowed operators to contribute through different professional capacities while maintaining operational effectiveness and professional satisfaction. Rodriguez's example influenced federal tactical development and enhanced appreciation for military operational experience in federal law enforcement roles while establishing new standards for recognizing and utilizing exceptional tactical capabilities. But perhaps Rodriguez's greatest contribution was demonstrating that legendary military service and federal tactical operations could complement each other, creating unique opportunities to serve American security while maintaining operational satisfaction and professional dignity through different forms of tactical excellence and operational leadership that honored both military achievements and federal requirements, while establishing new possibilities for career transition that preserved exceptional capabilities for continued national service. The story of Master Sergeant Phantom Rodriguez became inspirational throughout federal tactical communities, shared with new candidates as an example of how extraordinary military achievement often continues through federal service and dedication to supporting tactical operations through operational excellence rather than seeking continued recognition or celebrity status that interfered with professional contribution. His example reminded federal personnel that the most distinguished capabilities often come from people whose primary focus is supporting operations and honoring tactical traditions rather than maintaining personal status or seeking continued acknowledgement for past achievements. The most important lesson you can learn here, Williams would tell new SRT candidates during orientation briefings that became legendary throughout the training program, is that extraordinary tactical capability and legendary operational excellence often come from unexpected sources who don't advertise their achievements or demand special recognition. The quiet professional in your training class might be someone whose tactical achievements and operational service exceed anything you'll accomplish in your entire federal career, and your responsibility is to recognize and respect such capability rather than allowing ignorance and prejudice to blind you to exceptional potential. The federal assignment had provided Rodriguez with the opportunity to serve American security while transitioning from military to civilian life through work that utilized his tactical knowledge and operational expertise, while honoring the missions and operations that had defined his military service and maintaining the professional standards that had characterized his exceptional career. His recognition demonstrated that legendary military capabilities and federal service could enhance each other rather than compete for professional identity and operational satisfaction, creating new models for career transition that preserved exceptional capabilities for continued national service. Years later, when Master Sergeant Rodriguez advanced to senior tactical leadership positions combining operational expertise with federal training programs and candidate mentorship activities, his legacy lived on in the operational protocols he had inspired and in the understanding that true tactical excellence often requires adaptation of capabilities to different forms of service and operational contribution that honor both past achievements and current mission requirements while maintaining the professional standards that define elite service. His story reminded everyone that in tactical communities, as in all professional organizations, The most distinguished capabilities often belong to people whose primary motivation is continued service and operational effectiveness rather than recognition or status maintenance. Because the greatest tactical leaders are often those who use their extraordinary experience and operational achievements to enhance organizational capability rather than seeking personal recognition or maintaining celebrity status that interferes with professional contribution and operational effectiveness. The moment when every record fell to the old-timer had lasted only minutes, but its impact continued for years, reminding everyone that extraordinary tactical capabilities and legendary operational excellence often hide behind the most humble assumptions, and that the people others dismiss as past their prime may be the ones with the most distinguished tactical service and operational achievements in American military history, deserving respect rather than harassment and recognition rather than dismissal based on ignorant assumptions about age and capability. This story was brought to you by Silent Salute. Before we leave you today, here's our question. Have you ever underestimated someone based on their age or appearance, only to discover they possessed extraordinary capabilities or achievements that completely changed your perspective and forced you to reevaluate your assumptions about what makes someone truly capable? Have you encountered people whose humble demeanor concealed remarkable expertise and legendary accomplishments that deserved recognition and respect rather than dismissal and harassment? Tell us in the comments about the moments when you realized you'd been working alongside someone whose capabilities and achievements exceeded your understanding, and how that discovery changed your approach to judging others based on surface appearances rather than demonstrated performance. And if you believe that true legends prove themselves through performance rather than boasting, and that experience often trumps youth when lives hang in the balance, hit that subscribe button to support our channel's mission of honoring those who serve with distinction regardless of age or recognition. Nobody calls him old-timer anymore, not after he broke every record they thought would never fall and proved that warriors don't retire, they just reload.